In human terms, months is a long time to be somewhere as terrible as this. I think it has been months. I hope it's not been years. But the lack of light and, well, I said about the sleeping, and I'm beginning to think that time is shonky here too. After all, some part of this God-forsaken place is giving the laws of relativity a good shafting. My name is Rendell. Gary Rendell. I'm an astronaut. When they asked me as a kid what I wanted to be when I grew up, I said, astronaut, please, all filled with thoughts of Aldrin and Tereshkova. And though space exploration had been the domain of machines for quite a while, we did have a new crop of astronauts now, off bleeding their lives into the red sands of Mars, so that in a generation's time a cabal of rich guys could turn up and live off what they built. But that wasn't the astronaut I wanted to be. I wanted to go into space. I wanted to set foot on alien worlds. And I have. I've done all that. I've met aliens, sentient aliens. I've seen spaceships. I've breathed the venomous air of a planet on the other side of the universe. I'm probably the most travelled human being in the history of human beings travelling, if indeed that category is still the appropriate one with which to conjure me. I just didn't think there would be so much getting lost and eating corpses. They never told me that at astronaut school. They never told 7-year-old Gary Rendell how he might be huddled in front of a fire that's dying for lack of O2, gnawing on desiccated chunks of long-dead alien explorer. If they'd brought that up, I might have said train driver instead. The next day, I move on, leaving my fellow explorer half-eaten behind me. I'm not sure what killed him. I call him because that's the knee-jerk if you're a manly fellow like me. I call him Clive, in fact. Clive of the species Clivus from Clive's world. No one else is here. I get the naming privileges. Clive wandered these passageways, lost like me. He had no breathing apparatus that I could see, although I'm only guessing at what part of him actually breathed. Possibly Clive's world is somewhere nearby, some arid, low-oxygen world crawling with caterpillar men who got out into space with some trick other than combustible fossil fuels, and then found the thing we found out past Neptune, the thing we all find when we go far enough, the crypts. And Clive and his brood mates or brethren or clone kin were very excited in their caterpillar way. They entered the crypts just like we did, and maybe the rest of the Clives did better and found somewhere useful. Maybe they're living the high life with firm trading agreements with the Steves and the Debbies from across the universe. But my Clive didn't have a good time. My Clive wandered off or got separated, went space mad, or gave himself to the crypt gods. He found a dry corner, and he coiled his bulk up and died. And sometime later, an Earthman named Gary Rendell came along and ate quite a large chunk of him. But I'm getting sentimental. This isn't anywhere useful to me. The atmosphere's wrong, and unless Clive wandered in from a different aerome, then Clive's world is no fit destination for my fellow humans. So I head away, trekking the dark, constantly relighting the charcoal ends of Clive's limbs as the dead air snuffs them out. Because the crypts are cold, and the crypts are dark, although most everything else varies. One day later, meaning after I've slept again, although my personal sense of time suggests those periods are becoming more and more spaced out, but I will go quite mad if I cannot call things days and hours and minutes, even if the words have no meaning outside my skull. And so, one day later, I cross the invisible boundary into another aerome. The world smells faintly of something like lavender, and my lungs prick up their ears because the oxygen content is up, and also because there are several elements that humans would not normally want to be importing in bulk into the delicate, vulnerable linings of their pulmonary cavities. My lungs are omnivorous too, though.